In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create, manage and customize render passes in MentalCore. Start by opening the render globals. Under the render passes tab of MentalCore, first thing you'll see is a list of available passes on the left. Let's start by creating a few. To create them, select them and then press the double arrow to the right. At this point you can preview any render pass by selecting it, right click, preview selected pass. Before it will render during a batch render, you must select your passes and then assign them to the current render layer. Each render pass is an individual node. If you select a render pass, right click, press the select option, it's going to select the node and make it visible in Attribute Editor. And here you can change a variety of options. First, let's look at some options for saving the render passes. Assign all the render passes to the current render layer. Under the General tab, we have a File Mode option. You can choose between single EXR, grouped EXR, or separate files. Let's select single EXR and do a batch render. This results in a single EXR file, which contains all the render passes. The grouped option will group the render passes based on their group name. You can see it creates two subfolders based on the group name. In each subfolder is an EXR with the corresponding render passes. And finally, we have the single files option. This is useful if you're not using a multi-channel format such as EXR. As you can see, it creates a folder for each render pass, and inside is a file with the corresponding name. Now let's create some matte passes. We'll use one for the floor, one for the sphere, and one for the glowing lights. Now we need to link the objects to the matte passes. Select the objects, then select the matte pass. Right click, linked objects, link selected objects. Do the same for the bull. And for the glowing bits. Now let's assign them to the current render layer and preview one. This gives you a lot of control in compositing to grade certain elements of your render. You can also link based on the material. Now let's create two specular passes, one for each light. To link them to the lights, we do the same thing. Select the light in the scene, select the pass, right click, link selected lights. Now let's preview one of our render passes. Using light passes allows you to have more control in compositing and to tweak the intensity of individual lights. Light linking is supported by the diffuse, shadow, and specular passes. Now let's have a look at creating a custom pass. Select the custom color and press create. You can see in the attribute editor we have a custom shader option. Here we can plug in any texture or shader. Now let's have a quick look at some of the options available in passes. This first section controls what will be visible in the render passes. Let's demonstrate this by creating a refractive object. I'm just going to assign core material, make it fully transparent, and turn on refractions. Let's preview the AO pass. You can see we have no information behind the refractive object. This is normal as the refraction pass would fill in this information. However, to override this, select your render pass and we can turn on visible and refractions. The same is applicable for reflections. The scale controls the brightness and can be useful for passes such as depth to scale the depth information into a viewable range. Offset is used for a normalized motion vector pass and normals pass. Finally, we can enable clamping. This will clamp any bright pixels over a certain value. It can be useful for reducing artifacts and rendering, especially in specular passes. There's also a couple of options under the object and light linking. Let's take a look at one of our linked passes. We have two options, inclusive or exclusive linking. If set to inclusive, only the lights, objects or materials linked to the pass will render. If set to exclusive, it will be everything but. Now we have specular from all lights except the key light. The enable linking checkboxes are set automatically when you link an object, material or light. For more detailed information about any of these options, have a look at the documentation for the core render pass node.